My name is Angelina Casarez. I am one of the chiefs of public affairs here at the 502nd Air Base Wing. I'm actually an only child. My parents worked really long hours to make sure that they could provide for us. My mother and father were married for 17 years. They met in high school and they were high school sweethearts. My father promised to build my mom her dream home, and he started building the home, but it actually kind of looked like a shack. We had 4 walls and a roof, but our floors were cement, so I didn't know what laminate or tile or carpet was growing up. The walls didn't have full enclosed walls, so we went from a mobile home to what is kind of considered a shack. My mom and dad, I always assumed were happy, but behind closed doors, I would hear arguments. I didn't understand what abuse was. I didn't understand what mental and physical abuse was. I would see my dad grab my mom really hard or shove her. When I would intervene, things would stop. I was like my mom's protector. But at that time, a lot of parents fought. Even my friends' parents fought when I was at their house. So it was almost like our normal. After I turned 10, the violence got worse. I used to ask my mom to leave, like all the time. I would tell her, let's go. We'll go wherever you want to go. I'll come with you. She was very adamant about staying married and having a foundation, a home, a family. One night, my dad got really violent with my mom, and he broke her jaw in front of me. It wasn't him. Like, it was a different person. She really didn't want anyone to know what was going on. She tried to deal with the pain on her own. And I knew something was bad. Like, I knew this was probably the last time that they would be together. My parents officially got divorced when I was 13 years old. I was still in middle school. We moved into our home. As soon as my mom got the keys, we opened the door and we both got really emotional. We had real walls. We had a roof and we had carpet for the first time in our lives. We just laid there on the carpet for like an hour, just in excitement, in pride. I think that was a real turning point for my mom because she was empowered. She's a very strong woman. I saw that growing up my entire life, and she's really the person who shaped who I am today. That's a really important part of my life, that moment. Right before I started high school, I started dating someone. It was my 8th grade year. Our first few months, probably a year, the relationship seemed good. And then once we went through that year, it was like a turning point in the relationship. I was in dance team my early years in high school, and I noticed that brought on some jealousy. So I really minimized what I did outside of school because I was in a relationship where jealousy and control took over. During my sophomore year, the abuse was more apparent. The grabbing, the shoving, things that I watched my mom go through. I'd have bruises on my arms or back places where people really couldn't see it, so it was easier to hide. One day we got into an argument. I don't even remember what it was about. And he shoved me so hard that I hit the window and broke it. It didn't shatter. There was just a nice big crack in it, and I hit it with my head. And I remember crying and kind of being in shock. And immediately the apologies, came in. I continued in the relationship. I would stand my ground every now and then, but usually it wasn't going to benefit me if I did that. So a lot of times I just obeyed and kept my mouth shut and almost became an introvert, and I'm very extrovert. I started to believe the things that were being told to me. I started to believe that I wasn't worth anything. I felt like I didn't have a purpose, almost. It was almost like being a homebody in high school. And then I got pregnant. I just turned 17. I'm pregnant my junior year of high school, about to have a baby. The last thing you want to hear or think is that the person you're having a baby with isn't committed to you. So I didn't believe it. I felt so dumb. I felt so betrayed. There were days that I didn't want to go to school because I just didn't want to hear it. I think deep down I knew it was true, but I felt like I'd be defeated if I accepted it. And then what? What would happen? I'd be a single mom in high school. So I ignored the rumors throughout my whole junior year. We got in an argument on the way to school, and I remember him grabbing me by my hair. I was in the passenger seat, and grabbing me by my hair and shoving me multiple times into the door window. I was still pregnant. And I just remember the worst headache you could ever feel. And feeling such pain. I was crying. Stress can impact the baby, and I was pretty far along at this point. And then we pull up to the school, and I get out of the car, and I tell him, that's it. I'm going to tell the police what you're doing to me. I'm done. And so he promised that he would change, and I believed it. When you think about it, there's a male figure in your life growing up. You see how that person acts, how they treat women, the things that they say, the things that they do. And at a young age, I knew that was wrong. But I didn't know how to leave. I didn't know how to change the situation. I knew that if I told my mom what I was going through, she would put a stop to it. And even though I wanted that, I didn't want to disappoint her. Once I turned 18, I realized I was an adult, officially an adult. I had a baby. My life wasn't about me anymore. My life was about my son. And making sure that I could provide for him and give him the best home possible. I think, in a way, my son gave me that confidence. And I confronted my son's dad. And I said, I believe in myself. You need to pack your stuff and go. We went our separate ways. We went through the legal process for custody, and it was mutual. So there was never a fight. I told my mom the things that I had went through. The abuse, mental and physical. She cried. She blamed herself. I tried to reassure her that it wasn't her fault and that we'd get through it together. And we did. I've been able to come to peace and move on. I'm happily married. We have 3 boys and a girl and a daughter. There is light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. I'm living proof of that.